Morning, everyone. So I'm in my cupboard again. I can't resist doing this. I'm so sorry. Live from the cupboard. So if you, so I'm just rambling. I've learned to just ramble while Instagram tells my followers that I'm live. Because of course I can't possibly allow there to be silence. That would just not be me. Anyway, if you didn't see last week's mentoring session, now Instagram telling me, hold on, we're telling your followers to join. Instagram, I can't sit and stare at a screen and be quiet. I'm sorry. Hey, hi, morning, Rebecca. So if you didn't see last week's mentoring session, you won't be familiar with the cupboard. And literally, I am pretty much right now Harry Potter underneath the stairs. So in our house, my office is literally this cupboard, which is adjacent to my living room. And actually, I just love my cupboard. I love coming in here. This is where the magic happens. It's like it's my space. It's where I work a lot of the time. And then jump up and down like a yo-yo in between replying to emails and checking copy and planning training courses to make cheese sandwiches and drinks of squash for my kids. But hey, that's just life, isn't it, with your family? And I'm super lucky to have a job that, facilitates me hanging out with the kids in school holidays and doing the school runs, even though they do drive me insane sometimes. Anyway, my darlings, so it's what I wanted to do last week when I went live from my cupboard was actually talk about the picture behind me. And as always, the universe has sorted me out because I forgot last week. I rambled about something else. And then what I want to talk about today, which is boundaries and flakies, this topic has arisen from some conversations I had last week with yoga teachers who had completed my yoga teacher training course in 2020. Yes, if you can remember 2020, it was the year that we were thrown in and out of COVID lockdowns. And yes, I did manage to have an amazing group of trainee teachers complete their course and are now out in the world smashing it as yoga teachers. This picture behind me here was a gift that I gave myself one and Jane Craddock one, who I run the teacher training course with. That's the night sky, a picture of the night sky over St Agnes, where I run, if I'm working in person, where I run my in-person stuff, on the 13th of December 2020. And that, for me, I just love that. It's like the night sky over St Agnes. It's the world, it's the universe, it's a reminder it's a cell. I'm obsessed with this picture. It's the macro and the micro. It's a reminder that we are all connected. So that sits behind me when I'm working. When I'm mentoring one-to-one with people, it's behind me, and it's just like this constant message that, if I just trust my higher self and let the universe guide me, then I'm going to make the right decisions. And if I make the wrong decisions, to not be too harsh on myself. Anyway, so that's the story of the picture. So as I said, one of the things actually I really pride myself on is my relationship with anyone who trains for me. Whether you have signed up to my big Foundation Yoga Teacher Training course, which is an 8-month course, whether you've purchased one of my self-paced study 8-hour courses or anything in between, I invite you to come into my world in terms of, at the moment, it's a closed Facebook group. And if you reach out to me on that Facebook group, if you reach out to me on email, if you reach out to me on text or phone, I get back to you. I am passionate about creating a network of supported teachers. I've had this rant before, but I'm going to go off on it again. I came from a background of education. So I spent 12 years of my life as a secondary school music teacher. I worked as a head of faculty. I spent 6 years of that 12 years training music teachers. I wrote a PGCE program for Cornwall Skit, and I trained music teachers. And the ethos within the education system is if teachers work collaboratively, I can't say that word, collaboratively together, support each other, then the net result is standards in education improve, teachers have a better experience, and children have a better experience of education. Everyone wins. And I want that, and I think there is a shift, but it's not fully there yet. I want that to be the case in the yoga teacher world, not coming from a place of scarcity mindset where we're all in competition with each other and there's not enough people to do yoga with each other and there's too many yoga teachers and there's too many teacher training courses. Oh my God, I just cannot stand that mindset, and it's a mindset born out of fear. Whereas I think, like, let's take my pre and postnatal teachers. If I'm supporting them in their teaching, in their classes, then they are able to thrive and offer pregnancy yoga classes, postnatal yoga classes, and then mums to be at a time when they need it the most have access to high quality yoga. You know, it's so just yoga teachers. Find other yoga teachers that are, you know, are up for like supportive relationships where, you know, you are able to go to them. And thank you. I know, Rebecca. I have a couple of teachers that I know I can turn to and say, this isn't working for me, or I don't know what to do here. And they won't go, it won't be a sign of weakness, and they won't think, oh, Amy's failing and stuff like that. And, you know, when I had someone reach out to me the other week and said, oh, I'm going to start a pregnancy yoga class. It's a different night. You know, it was a different place. I really appreciated her reaching out to me. It was a lovely gesture. But at the same time, I was like, please start that class. Women need pregnancy yoga. I do not have on any instance a feeling that you are trying to steal my business, because this is the other thing with this mindset. You know, if you come from a place that you don't want any other yoga teacher to fail, you want them to thrive just as much as you thrive, you celebrate their successes and they celebrate yours, everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner. Anyway, boundaries and flakies. How can I be 7 minutes in and I'm not on my topic? Sorry, guys. My brain. They're two slightly different things, but the answer to the problem is the same, right? So I have one lady who, her business, this is great, this is really exciting. Her yoga business is taking off. Like, she is overwhelmed, and this happens. You get to a place where, you know, the wheels are off and your business is taking off, and this is amazing. This is what you dreamed of. This is what you hoped was going to happen. You know, look, everyone wants to do yoga with you. You're full. You're also completely overwhelmed to manage it all. Like, you weren't prepared for this moment. And what I mean by that is, at first she used Facebook quite a lot. She had a lot of friends, acquaintances on Facebook, and she was just dealing with her bookings for her yoga business through Facebook. And Facebook, that's fine, but it was her personal page. So, you know, there is already a perception there. And she's got to a place where she has had to expand her classes because they're all full. She's getting loads of inquiries. But it's not just that's hard to manage. She's also has been trying to accommodate everyone. So if someone wants to change class 1 week, if someone wants to change their booking, if someone can't make it 1 week, fill a waiting list, trying to fill a waiting list on a first come, first serve basis. And the admin load is impossible, and like things are happening, like because people are being expected, this is what I mean by boundaries, because she's trying to accommodate them shifting around to different classes, and if they miss a week, a catch-up class, and if there's someone on the waiting list, can they take the place? Because she's trying to accommodate everyone. It's become completely overwhelming and unsustainable. So that's that teacher's situation. Then we had, as part of the discussion, someone else just jumped in, and the opposite was that her numbers for her in-person class were really low. Like, this happens, and not many people talk about this, but I'm gonna just say it out there. We've all been there, where we've turned up to teach and no one's turned up. or one person's turned up. We've all been there, and I know what it feels like, okay? And any yoga teacher that tells you they've had it thriving off the back and they've never been in that situation, wow, I celebrate you, but I really hope you're telling the truth, because I feel like we've probably at some point all been there, or all created an online course that no one's bought, for example. There may be other examples of that. So the lady whose numbers are really low, that sometimes she turns up to teach and no one turns up, I was just like, well, what's your booking system? And it's just drop in, pay as you go. In both cases, they needed to sort out their boundaries. So let's deal with the latter lady. She's the flakies. So I love the flakies. her boundaries that she's saying to people that want to come to a class are attracting flakies. She is like, come along, pay as you go. Now, listen, I've done this. I've been pay as you go. I totally understand the mindset of it. You think, well, it's flexible. It will encourage people to turn up. It is a more affordable way. Like, if they can't come 1 week, they don't miss their classes. I get all of that. When it comes to a drop-in setup. My issue with a drop-in setup, you are going to attract flakies. You are not encouraging, you are not putting in the boundaries of commitment. And I will give you an example of this, a non-yoga example, because it really helps for us to step out of our heads as yoga teachers and think about comparable businesses, comparable services. So my children do swimming. I pay for a term's worth of swimming. I understand that swimming school has to hire the pool and pay the teacher, okay? Yoga teachers, you have to hire a hall, a venue, or open a yoga studio, or pay for online Zoom platforms, equipment. You have a cost in delivering your class, and you deserve to be paid for your services. In fact, if your students, these flakies that come every now and again and love your class, if you turned around to them and said, look, I'm really sorry, I've got to stop, this isn't financially viable for me. I see this happen a lot, actually. I see yoga teachers putting out that they're having to stop the class because, just regularly not enough people are coming. People pile in and they're like, oh, I love your class. Oh, that's a real shame. And I'm like, wow, you could say, well, if you turned up more regularly, she wouldn't feel like that. But the boundary comes from the teacher. Put in a course payment structure. This course starts on this date, it ends on this date. There are 8 places, and if you want a place in this course, you have to turn up. If you miss a week, I'm sorry. I still have to pay the hall rental. If you want me to be here next week, it's you that, unfortunately, if you're ill, you can't make it 1 week, you're on holiday, it's your husband's birthday, your children are ill. I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. But if you want me to be here next term, because you love this yoga class, then there isn't a situation where I'm rolling credit over or I'm arranging catch-ups. Now, look, if you're running a couple of classes, catch up. It might be easy to say to people, yeah, okay, well, come. If you want to catch up a class, come on next Friday. As long as you've got the space to do that. Don't enter into any administration nightmare. I'll give you an example. So my mum and baby classes on a Tuesday are absolutely bursting at the seams, right? So no one else can come into that class. It is full. My Friday mum and baby class, I've got a bit of space. I've got a bit of leeway. So if anybody on Tuesday mum and baby misses a class, I do just say, well, if you want to catch up a class, come on Friday. But I'm not dealing with that on an administration front. And then unfortunately, the poor mums and baby on Friday, look, I just can't offer them a catch up, Or another example, pregnancy yoga classes. I work in courses. I hybrid it. So I do it online and in person. If someone misses the in-person class that week, they get access to the recording for that week. And I'm sending that out to everyone. So it's not an additional administration nightmare. If you are right now having palpitations at the idea of adopting my mantra, one of my mantras, drop the drop-ins, okay, then one halfway point is to have a course payment, like it's a 5-week block, and it's £40 to sign up for this 5-week block. It starts here, it ends here. If you miss a week, I'm sorry, your credit does not roll over. Then, if you have the capacity to drop in, and the wording I would use is if available, if space is available, drop in. I don't know, drop in £10, drop in £12, make the drop in more expensive because it's more risky for you. And you know the value of yoga. You know if they commit every week, if they turn up every week, right, that they will have a better outcome and a better experience of yoga. You know yourself, if you commit to something, if you sign up to something, you know, you just sat on the couch, you think, oh, I don't think I can be bothered to go to whatever it is that you've signed up to do, and you know that you've committed to it, you're going to turn up. You're going to turn up. So don't encourage flakiness. Don't draw the flakies towards you, because if you're drop-in only, you are calling out the flakies and the flakies will come to you. Okay. And actually, I love the flakies because the flakies want to do yoga. They're coming to drop in and try it, right? So give the flakies the opportunity to come, and then encourage them to commit with your pricing structure. And this is your boundary, and your boundaries are in your terms and conditions, which you state really clearly at booking, and it can be done really nicely. And then of course there are exceptions to the rules. Of course there are times where I've instantly refunded someone's money because something quite serious has happened in that person's life, and the last thing I'm going to do is hold on to their money. Of course, you know, there may be times where there are exceptions to the rule, or you may want to have, and I have this, look, and nobody's taken me up on it, but in my wording, like, I am like, yoga is for everyone. If you're facing financial barriers, please get in contact with me, okay? But please drop the drop-ins or at least encourage commitment. Then let's go back to that first point in terms of the lady who had the opposite problem. Her business was, the wheels were off her business. Her classes are bursting at the seam. She has waiting lists. She needs to start new classes. She's running everything through her at the moment. Private Facebook page, people are messaging her like, you know, like you message your mates on Facebook Messenger. Because of that point of entry, that point of discussion, you know, there people are like, can I change class? Oh, I booked this class, but can I move to this class? I can't make this week. Can I roll credit over? You know, and when you are wanting to accommodate people, at first you're like, yes, and then you hit a point where you're like, I'm spending hours dealing with this, hours, and all I'm doing is losing money and time, you know. So her boundary needs to be a booking system, and I would say a website. Your website is where your boundaries are communicated. For example, what are your opening hours? When can people contact you? So do you have a contact form on your website, and someone emails you, and there's an automated response on some level? You know, you don't have to have a high-tech website to do this. You could set automated responses up in Gmail, which says, you know, it's just me and my business. I'll endeavour to get back to you within 48 hours. You know, let people know that you're just you with 2 children and a full-time job running 2 yoga classes a week, for example. Then communicate your terms and conditions, your bookings. You're booking your space in this class. It is non-transferable and non-refundable, except with exceptional circumstances, because even that, you know, 48-hour cancellation rule, you're just all the time opening yourself up to additional messy admin that causes you time and loses you money. And when people book, if they know that they can't cancel within 48 hours, if they know they can't transfer it, they will think really hard about when exactly it is they want to go to class. They'll look at their diary and see, this is the time and the dates that's best for me. Your boundaries are so important. And I get it, because we, as, you know, yoga teachers, what I call heart-based service solo entrepreneurs, yeah, most of us, we want to spread the light that is yoga to our students. We want to be accommodating to our students as possible. I get that, and I don't want you to lose that. But all the time, right, if you've got a system whether it's not encourage people to commit, or you've got so many people coming into your classes that you need to put in a clear, defined system, whatever end of the spectrum you're at, if you don't put these boundaries in, okay, you will long-term stop serving because you'll burn out. You'll long-term stop serving because you what you're offering isn't sustainable for us, not a sustainable energy exchange. So if you're regularly losing money and nobody's turning up, you're just long-term going to stop turning up. And those few people that came every now and again that loved it are like, oh, I love that class. God, that's a shame that's stopping. I bet you they would have paid for a block. I bet you they pay for a block. And then those people that are just you've got waiting lists, you've got people desperate to come to your classes, okay? This is the course date, start date. This is the end date. Book your place now on a first come, first serve basis. Waiting lists are really hard to manage. I know that. I have waiting lists sometimes for my classes, and every time somebody wanted to book on and didn't get on, it really breaks my heart. But when a space becomes available on a waiting list, you really just make it first come, first serve. Okay, because otherwise you put yourself in a situation where you email someone and you're saying, do you want this place? Let me know in a couple of hours. If not, I'll open it to the next person on the waiting list. Look, unless you've got a virtual assistant, unless you've got a PA, this is just not possible. Okay, so your boundaries on how people can book, how people can communicate, are all there to ensure that your energy is protected so you can teach. Anyway, my lovelies, I think I've covered flakies and boundaries. I hope you have a good week. It feels like spring is in the air. And yes, I think this happened last Monday as well. I am about to go surfing, and it's warmer than last week, so things are on the up. If you have any questions, if you want me to cover anything in these Mentoring Mondays, please feel free to DM me. I have given up planning too far in advance. I tend to roll with it in terms of what comes up with me, but I'm totally happy to discuss anything. And I'm just going to finish with a really shameless plug. There's pleasure, Rebecca. A really, really shameless plug to my free stuff page, which has currently loads of courses, free yoga, free yin, vinyasa, pregnancy, postnatal, 5 free training workshops, the art of teaching yin, teaching toddler yoga, introducing pregnancy, including pregnant women in your general yoga, 5 postnatal exercises that every yoga teacher should know, and creating sustainable, profitable yoga classes for bumps, mums and little ones. Oh, that's a lot to say. But there's so much stuff on my free stuff page at the moment, and some of it is only free in March, because I am asking you to help me raise money for my Just Giving appeal for Ukraine. There's my shameless plug. Have a good week, my lovelies. See you all soon.